today's video, as you can see, we are back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be, somewhat doing a 2K video, but I think it'd just be easier to explain what I'm doing on 2K than I would doing a sort of face cam type of video. So, in today's video, I'm just going to be going through the NBA teams and talking about adding one NBA legend to every NBA team. So, if you do like that idea, make sure you slap a like on the video before you get all nice and cozy, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel where I make a plethora of ASMR content for you guys. Thank you so much. This is going to be a mix of, soft-spoken and whispering, so hopefully you guys don't mind that, and also hopefully you don't mind a little bit of the background noise. It is kind of a busy night out today for some reason. I know the weather's getting a lot better. People are a little bit more excited, so it's kind of loud outside, so hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. I know some people like background noise in ASMR videos, so hopefully it doesn't bother you too much. So I guess we could just finally get started here and talking about our first team here, the Philadelphia 76ers. So I'm thinking about adding sort of the perfect fit NBA legend to a team. It could just because that team is a championship caliber team and they just need a little extra oomph from one player. Or it could just be a team down bad who just needs the best player in their franchise's history to help revitalize them. So, when talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, I think it's pretty easy to pick out one, at least in my opinion. Philly having great inside presence and getting in the rim and the foul line very easily with Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons being their best players, and even having a good third option in Tobias Harris. I think it's pretty obvious. The guard play, not counting Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons, as we know, isn't much of a guard. He plays point, but not really a guard. I think adding a player like Allen Iverson would be great for this team. Now, I'm not going to do it in the game because that would just take way too long to do, trying to find all these players and stuff, but I think adding Allen Iverson to this team, I think would be a really good idea. Having, good outside presence, good scoring presence, just adding another superstar to the team. Obviously, in the NBA nowadays, it's a race for the super team, and I think adding that to the Philadelphia 76ers would be pretty great. So, adding Allen Iverson to the Sixers, making him either a point guard or a shooting guard, I think would be the perfect fit for this squad. Now, on to the Milwaukee Bucks. When looking at the Bucks, having Giannis, Holiday, Middleton, honestly not that bad of a team already. I could add a player like, prime Ray Allen at the 2, obviously needing a nice shooting guard, Dante DiVincenzo. Not really the best fit there. I think that'd be pretty good. But if you do know a player at center who would be even more better for this team, I think honestly adding prime Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to this lineup would be pretty crazy. Now, I know that Giannis does need the lane open to be very effective, and Brook Lopez provides that sort of, outside, inside game, not really inside out. But honestly, having Kareem on this team would just be so immaculate. Having a great next go-to punch scorer like Kareem would be pretty great. Sure, it would be pretty awkward for Giannis, I'm sure, but I think Giannis is such a good player that, he could probably adapt to having a great player like Kareem to play next to. Then we have Zach LaVine on the Chicago Bulls. I say Zach LaVine because, sorry Zach, your spot might be taken because even though I think the perfect fit for this team would be Scottie Pippen. Williams as their starter, getting a great combo sort of wing in Scottie Pippen would be perfect. But obviously knowing Michael Jordan and knowing today's era, Michael Jordan could easily play the three. So I think I'm going to just put Michael Jordan on the squad. And also just because this team needs a lot more star power, I think having Michael as their go-to with a supporting cast of Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, I think that'd be pretty immaculate. So I think getting Michael is the obvious answer, but if we're talking perfect fit, Scotty might be a better answer, but I think they need Michael Jordan's up a little bit more. Now we're on to the Cavs, and for the Cavs, I mean, again, a very obvious one would be LeBron, but I'm not entirely sure if that counts because LeBron is still in the league, so I'll give two answers for this one. I think LeBron, obviously, they do actually have some pretty decent guard play with Sexton and Garland. They're looking pretty good this year. Even Kevin Love, Jared Allen, not bad at all. So obviously, I think having a small forward would be perfect for this team. Getting a player like LeBron is a pretty easy one. If not LeBron, because he's still in the league, I don't know. I think Sexton is good enough. I don't need Mark Price, so I might just go with like Brad Daughtry maybe. Even Craig Elo. I'm not even entirely sure. I think LeBron is just the easiest pick, but sure, I'll say Brad Daughtry. I think that he was definitely a good enough player, just didn't stay all that healthy. Having him on that team would be pretty good as well. The Boston Celtics, oh man. I think we all know a very needed spot for the Celtics in today's era is a big. And I think adding a player like Bill Russell would be absolutely amazing for this team. I was either thinking Bill Russell or Kevin Garnett from his Boston Celtics days, but I think getting Bill Russell, a mature, very smart guy who can really hold his team down, who's still pretty young, would be a pretty perfect pick. Sure, could I just say, get Larry Bird and just go crazy? I think yes, that's a good answer, but I think definitely having Bill Russell being that center would be the best case scenario for the Celtics. Then we have the Clippers, and I think the Clippers is another pretty obvious one, kind of like the Cavs and LeBron. I think having Chris Paul on this team, oh my god, this team would be so amazing with a prime Clippers Chris Paul playing alongside Paul George and Kawhi. My god, that would be so crazy. If not, man, I'm not even entirely sure. I think he might just be the best case scenario. Maybe getting a player like, I don't know, a prime Elton Brand, maybe. Just a big. If there's an all-time big that I'm forgetting for the Clippers, I'm trying to think. I'm not really entirely sure. That would also be a good case scenario, but if I can pick a player who's still in today's NBA, even though they did play for the team, all-time great for the LA Clippers, I think Chris Paul would be the best case scenario, at least in my opinion. Next up, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, for the Memphis Grizzlies, I think the Grizzlies just need a little bit more star power. So, in picking, at least in my opinion, the best player in their team's history, I think I'm gonna go with a prime Marc Gasol. Even though they do have Jonas Valanciunas, and he is actually playing pretty good for them this year, I think having Jonas off the bench would be amazing, and starting, a prime defensive player of the year candidate, Marc Gasol, would be absolutely awesome. But I guess if you wanted to go again with the perfect pick type of player, obviously needing a small forward for this team, a prime Rudy Gay player before all of his injuries, I think would also be a very good pick for them. So there's another two answer one for you, but I think Marc Gasol would be the best one for sure. With the Atlanta Hawks, again, I think this one's pretty easy. With DeAndre Hunter still being a very young player, I think adding, again, a pre-injury Dominique Wilkins adds to this team would be amazing. I think Atlanta right now is just looking for adding talent to play alongside Trae Young. I think adding Dominique to this team would be absolutely amazing. Giving another go-to option guy when Trae Young's not feeling it, I think would be the best case scenario for the Atlanta Hawks. Just adding that team's, best player in their team's history would be pretty amazing. If not, maybe a player like ISO Joe Johnson in his prime. I think that's also a very good option. Just getting a pure go-to scorer, I think that'd be pretty cool as well. But I think Dominique would just be the better answer. We're on to the Miami Heat now. And again, picking up a player, an all-time player like LeBron, would be the obvious answer. Getting more ball control, getting another go-to guy down the stretch, another superstar, I think would be the best case scenario. But I know they do have Dragic, and it looks like they're playing Oladipo at point guard right now. I'm just going to say it and go with Dwayne Wade. I think D-Wade being able to play that point guard, shooting guard role, I think would be pretty important for this team. Now again, it doesn't really add a lot of shooting. Obviously having Jimmy Butler is not the greatest two-point shooter. I think having players like Tyler Hero, Dragic off the bench, Oladipo off the bench, starting D-Wade, I think there's still enough three-point shooting on this team to where it's not going to be that much of a hindrance of having a D-Wade player, especially D-Wade in his prime. I think that's a go-to answer right there. The Charlotte Hornets are up next. And for Charlotte, again, a very good team that could just need more star power, so maybe adding a prime Kemba would be maybe the franchise's best case scenario. But if we are just trying to add the best fit for the current squad, I think adding maybe like a prime Alonzo Mourning would be really good. Just maybe not even prime, maybe just a young Alonzo Mourning, so we can just help develop with this very young team. Obviously, getting LaMelo Ball would be the best case scenario. Being able to get a player who can develop alongside him. Players like, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, P.J. Washington. I think just getting a young Alonzo to help build that sort of defensive center mind with that great team, I think would be pretty great. Next up, the Utah Jazz with, by the way, Utah having now a new co-owner, I guess, with D-Wade. I think that's going to be pretty exciting for them. Again, I think a pretty easy one. Mike Conley is playing a lot better than he used to be. If he wasn't, I would say John Stockton. But since Mike Conley has definitely picked up his game this year, I think I'm just going to go with Karl Malone. Again, just the team's best player all time. Another go-to scoring option to help Donovan Mitchell with that sort of a load, especially in the starting lineup. I think that's very good. Either Malone, Stockton, or even a prime Gordon Hayward at the 3 position would be pretty cool, but I think we all know Karl Malone would probably just be the best case scenario for this team. Then we have the Sacramento Kings, and again, a very easy one, at least in my opinion. Marvin Bagley never really has sprouted to that player they're all hoping they would be. He's only a 2-year pro, and still not really making a big, impact on the game. He's actually a 3-year pro, actually, technically. So I think I'm just gonna have to go with, prime Chris Webber. I think Chris Webber on this team would also be very, 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 very good. Another sort of second star to play alongside De'Aaron Fox, let Tyrese Halliburton still develop a little bit, but still getting another go-to option guy with Chris Webber. I think it would be pretty cool for the Sacramento Kings. For the New York Knicks, it's actually pretty hard to think. I could obviously go with like a player like Carmelo Anthony to just sort of add more scoring to the team, but I think defense is what this team is really prideful on. I've seen the Knicks have some amazing defensive plays, so I think I'm obviously star power is what they need as well. So maybe picking arguably the greatest star in New York history, who's also a great defender in the paint, and Patrick Ewing. I think having Patrick Ewing on this team would be amazing. Put Mr. Robinson on the bench, and then maybe you don't need a player like Nerlens Noel. Getting a great interior game of Randall and Ewing, but also Randall, if you guys didn't know, is actually, not that bad of a three-point shooter. I know yesterday when he played, He played really good, so I think Randall might be my go-to pick. Not Randall, Ewing might be my go-to pick, and just also just adding more star power. For the LA Lakers, I think this one's also pretty obvious. I think obviously looking at the depth of the Lakers, it's not that great. Having to start Caldwell Pope on this team being a 75 overall, not the greatest scenario for the Lakers, especially for title contending. And this team definitely doesn't need a Magic Johnson type of player because they already have that type of player already with LeBron, Kareem, and might clog the lane a little bit, also already having Anthony Davis. I think it's pretty obvious that this team definitely needs Kobe Bryant, a go-to scorer in the stretch that LeBron can look out for when he's sort of facilitating, a great defender, and just adds more, I guess maturity, that legend status of having LeBron and Kobe on one team with a young aspiring player of Anthony Davis. That team would be absolutely immaculate if this team could get a Kobe Bryant type of player. Just another go-to scorer that can just help out with LeBron when, again, time gets tough and you need a go-to basket. The Orlando Magic now, and for the Magic, this is easy, very quick. They just need a star, and right now they don't really have that. I don't think Jonathan Isaac can really be that guy for them, but I do think that just getting a star, obviously like a young Shaquille O'Neal would be absolutely amazing if Shaq could play his entire career in Orlando. I'm sure Orlando wouldn't have been mad about that at all. So I think just getting the star power of Shaq on this team would be the best case scenario. So I'm going to pick Shaquille O'Neal. Or even Penny Hardaway would be kind of interesting. Next up, the Dallas Mavericks. And again, a pretty easy one, at least in my opinion. I think Kristaps is a really good interior paint defender when he wants to be. If he can continue that, I think adding a player like obviously Prime, MVP, Dirk Nowitzki to the squad, my goodness, would just be absolutely crazy. I think it'd be really cool to see that type of star power on this team. I think would be actually really cool. My only thing would just be, again, the sort of paint clogging that it would take to have Porzingis and Dirk. But I think Porzingis, obviously being a pretty decent three-point shooter, would also be able to help out with Dirk needing that post-game sort of thing. I can't even really think of any other player I'd want besides Dirk. I think he's just the go-to option for sure. I think next would definitely be James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving's Brooklyn Nets team. And for them, it's actually pretty tough because I can't really add, a Jason Kidd. I can't really add a Brian Vince Carter, Richard Jefferson, because their wing position is so deep already with these players. I can't even add like a Dr. J type of player either. So I guess just for me personally, maybe just adding a prime Brook Lopez would be the best case scenario. Brook Lopez on the New Jersey Nets definitely was a pretty good player. I think he just, needed a little bit of extra help on those New Jersey teams, but being a 20-point plus per game scorer, I think just adding that to the interior sort of inside-out game to the Nets would be pretty cool. He's not really much of a defender, but he has a big body, so I think anything to help the Nets would be the best case scenario for them. So I think I'm just going to go with him. Now for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think might also be quite an easy pick. Again, just a team that really just needs more talent. I think obviously just adding the most talented player in this team's history. Kevin Durant would be the best case scenario. I think obviously just getting another go-to scorer, just someone the team can really go to. Obviously with letting Shea just develop a little bit more before his prime hits, would be the best case scenario. But again, Kevin Durant's in the league, so picking someone out of the league, I don't really want to say Gary Payton because I actually really like having Shea at the one. I really like him being the more ball-dominant player that he is. So I'll just go with Sean Kemp. I think Sean Kemp on this team would be awesome. obviously Kevin Durant is the go-to option. Then with the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm just going to go with, again, the best talent on the team's history. And the team also needing this player's help at this position, power forward. I think it's pretty obvious they need a Kevin Garnett. Now you could argue Kevin Love, just because a new age style of basketball, having more of a three-point shooter to sort of stretch the floor a little bit. It's honestly not a bad argument. I think that actually would be the better pick, but come on. Kevin Garnett was an MVP. I think no matter where you could set him, I think he'd play awesome. And I think maybe even having him play center and having Karl Anthony Towns play more of a power forward role, because he is an outside shooter, I think would also be able to help out this team a lot. I think that's pretty easy. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think there's really anyone else in the team's history that you could really argue there. For Portland, this one you can actually go a couple different ways. You could just pick, again, adding star talent. I don't really like having Norman Powell at the 3. I don't know why Terry Stotts thinks it's a good idea to play literally 3 guards who are under 6'3" at the same time. It's brain dead, at least in my opinion, but hey, that's what he wants to do. Now, in my opinion, I think adding Clyde Drexler, making him play small forward, would be the best case scenario. Or again, if you just want to do the best fit for the team right now, you could go, LaMarcus Aldridge in his prime, or maybe even a Bill Walton player in his prime back in 1977. Would be pretty cool, getting a big who can just add more defense. But, I think just adding star power would be the best case scenario for Portland, because they really need that. So I think I'm going to go with Clyde at the 3, and then make Norman Powell come off the bench, or maybe even CJ come off the bench. I don't know which one I'd route more, but I think it's a good idea. Then we have the Golden State Warriors, and again, I think it's pretty obvious that Kevin Durant really made that team pretty unstoppable, not gonna lie. So if KD was still on this team would be a title contender for this year, even without Klay Thompson. But I think I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant, or if I can't, I'll just go with Wilt Chamberlain. I think I'll do the best case scenario. And then the last pick, I'm just gonna go maybe with Elvin Hayes, or just any of those big-time Wizards bigs of their all-time talent. I think the best case scenario. I don't think Gilbert Arenas really do anything for this team, so I'm just gonna go with one of their bigs. So that's it for me, guys. I know, sorry for all the background noise, but I am going to try to finish this up right now. So I really hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night, whenever you're watching this video. And I'll see you again in my next video. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. Check out the rest of my videos on my channel, and I'll see you again very soon. Alright, guys.